Welcome to Make and Decorate, a podcast for makers who love to sew, quilt, knit, and decorate. Today I am chatting with Willie Smith, aka Willie Nillie Knits. Willie is an extraordinary content producer of 90-second knitting tutorials and more recently knit-alongs on Instagram. Hi Willie, welcome to the Make and
What's
Decorate
going on?
podcast. Yay!
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
So glad you're here. I'm so excited. Been looking so forward to it. And we're recording in late August, but this will go up sometime in the fall.
Sweet.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on your new little
Yes.
one, baby
Yes,
girl.
yes. Number 3. Well, my
Oh,
little girl, her name is Iris.
oh, it is. It's number 3. I thought it was number 2 because
Yeah,
now
number
you're
3.
outnumbered.
Oh, been outnumbered. My wife always counts as 2, so.
That's too funny. 'Cause my sister has 4, and it's always funny when we're like, "You're outnumbered." It's a mutiny.
Yes.
Well, good. So you're super busy.
Yes. All the time.
I'm gonna change up the order of topics, and we're gonna get into your knitting story, but I'm gonna start with Instagram because
Let's
you are
go.
known for your 90-second video tutorials, and I wanna know how you came up with this, and,
Yes.
you're doing some, knit-alongs. So how did you come up with this, and when did you start doing this on Instagram?
I started the Instagram about 2019. So that's when like Willie Nillie Knits like came to be, and
Mhm.
someone was like, those hats are really nice. Like, how much do you want for them? Like that was the beginning when they were just like I didn't think my stuff was good enough to be sold. And I'm a teacher by nature. Like that's my calling. That's what lights me up every day. So I feel like that's got to be what I'm born to do. Um,
Mhm.
but I know in all the teachings and learnings that I've done, we only have so much of an attention span, especially when it comes to things that are like new and foreign, and it can be exciting, but like the excitement just wanes down. So I only have a very set amount of time to keep you entertained, to keep you engaged, and to get the information across.
Right.
And 90 seconds is about the amount, like the max amount that Instagram has for like a tutorial. So if I can cram all of that information with some fun in 90 seconds, I'm gonna cut above the rest, just like that. So that's where like that concept came from, and just figuring out how long I
Oh.
could do this and how much information can I get in here that's important. So like every time
Mhm.
that you see a 90-second video, just know that it took about an hour to do
Oh,
for
wow.
90
Okay.
seconds.
Yeah,
So
no, I know all about
that's where it came
that
from.
with the podcast. It didn't just take the amount of time that it's, publishing. It took
No
a
way. The
lot longer to
editing, the
edit.
takes. Right.
Yeah.
But
Uh-huh.
the people are worth it,
So
right? If they can learn.
absolutely, yeah, and, your, uh I probably am gonna be the last person to try Reels, so I haven't done it yet. I'm on Instagram,
Oh
and
man,
I
that's
post
home to
and
me.
I do stories, but, I I gotta get up to doing the so the Reels are 90 seconds then, is that what you're
Yep,
saying?
that's the max amount. They can be like
Got
30
it.
seconds, 60 seconds, 45, I
Alright,
think.
and you made it
90 is the
work.
longest. I
Yeah.
do what I
Oh,
can, I'm just trying to
cool.
figure out like what I can do in this community. I want to be a pillar in the community, and
Mhm.
pillars in
Mhm.
the community have to contribute. They have to bring something. They have to give something
Mhm.
away, right? And like that's what I feel like my purpose is once I found the gift. So
Well, I only found you last winter because your videos popped up. Well, I watch Reels, so they popped up, and I was like, "What? And who is this?" I was mesmerized, and then I couldn't get enough, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, I would love to have him on my podcast,"
oh yeah.
and then I looked at how many followers he had, and I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna say yes or not, but I always just
Oh,
ask
get
because
out of
what are
here.
people gonna say? They'll say no, so, I mean
Get out of here. And that's what a lot of people think too when they see that number. I'm the same guy. I'm that guy that will answer all the messages, all the DMs. like that number doesn't mean as much as like people perceive it to mean for a lot of people, right?
Right,
Like that number
right.
doesn't mean I'm famous. That number just means that
Mhm,
there's a lot of trust in me. I see that totally
mhm.
different, you know.
Yeah, well,
I'm
yeah,
all
and
about it.
me too because, I know as a content producer that I should be posting morning, noon, and night and building up these followers and all that stuff that like when people say follow this person, do that, blah blah blah. Is that
Yeah.
really your true follower? I mean, are they in
Not at
it
all.
for right.
Not at all.
So I just grew my, audience organically and I have a lot less drop rate than someone who maybe has 10,000, you know.
Absolutely. I'm
Yeah,
right there too,
yeah.
you know, like we
Mhm.
all lose followers because like we're
Yeah,
people, right? People,
right.
especially in the internet age, they lose interest really quickly,
Sure.
right? There are
Yeah,
people
yeah.
who are people have different motives and different aims and different reasons why they're following you. They're looking to get something, whether it's
Mhm.
extrinsic or intrinsic. I totally get
Yeah.
it. And I'm just all about the people that grew with me. I know them by name or at least their Instagram handle. They've been with me around for the longest time. I'm super grateful for them, but I know I just need 1,000 super fans, and I can do this forever, you know.
Yeah.
But in order for me to get 1,000 super fans, I need to reach 1 million people. So I did all the math already.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
it's quite
you're
a bit. So you know,
jeez.
people are gonna come and go, but the people who like really know what's going on and really like value what I'm putting down, they'll stay, and
That's
that's
good
what
to
I'm here for.
know, actually. Yeah, so this is a good for goal setting, I guess. Because I I thought when I was watching your videos for the first time that this is what every person who wants to start knitting or is discouraged about their knitting, and then they even quit knitting, and thought they couldn't do it. But
Sure,
Willie Nillie Knits says you can do it, and I
that's
believe
right.
you.
That's right. That's right. I'll start you off with the belief, right? I'm like the jump start in belief. Like I believe in you more than you believe in you for now. You'll get where I am soon enough, right? It's all
Sure,
about belief.
yeah. Yeah, and because you say it over and over again, and it's true, like, if someone keeps hearing something over and over again, then it eventually becomes true in their mind, and, so if it goes both ways, negative or positive,
That's
and,
right.
so
That's
you're
right.
very positive, and, I just I'm just gonna take a little tangent here because your smile and your energy reminds me this might be before your time, but it reminds me of the football player in Jerry Maguire, where he's
Uh,
like where
Cuba
he's like,
Gooding Jr., show me the money.
"Yes, show me the
Cuba,
money.
show me the money.
Show me the
Yes.
knitting."
Yes. Let's
Yeah,
go.
because 'cause you're
For
very
sure. I
animated
appreciate
and
it.
it's just like, I love it. I love it
One of
so
my favorite
much.
actors, Cuba Gooding Jr. He's
Isn't he
awesome.
great? I know, I love
He's
him
awesome.
too.
Awesome.
So good. So, alright, good, because sometimes if I refer to '90s things, like, younger generations are like, "What?"
Exactly, because they were in diapers. That's why.
Right, right. So, okay, and then knit-alongs, your most recent one, I think, is the bandana cowl, is that right?
Yes, I collaborated with Darn Good Yarn, and we did the bandana cowl. You know, it was a 2 part series where we started it, and then the next one we just did like the short rows and um the knitting around just to get it finished, you know. And the thing about knit alongs for me, I want to make them as accessible as possible, but as doable as possible
Mhm.
because when knitters are starting off, they need the small wins. They need the fast wins. They need to be
Yeah.
quick and fast and like I got something, I did it. It wasn't so overwhelming. Like my attention
Mhm.
span was enough to have it. Like we need those things. And the
Mhm.
bandana cow did just that. And it had all of these different skills in it, the short rows, the center double decreases for the point that was in the front,
Mhm.
um, going back and forth and then going in the round. Like these are all building block fundamental skills to make the things that they want. Like I want to be a part of a community where people can make what they want. Like that's the vision, right? That's gonna
Yeah.
outlast me. It's gonna outlive me. That's what people knit for. They knit to make what they want, not necessarily what designers want them to think that they want, right?
Right.
But it all comes from skill set. You have to be
Mhm.
able to know what to do in order to do it. And doing a couple of things here and there, you
Mhm.
learn the skills. And then from there, you start branching off and start doing your own thing and making your own creations. And
Yeah.
that's what it's about. People are in it
Mm,
to make things that they want. And skill
mm,
set is the main is the barrier to entry. That's the cover charge. So if I'm
mhm,
there helping people with the skills, they're that much
mhm,
closer to making what they want, and they're happier for it. So that's my
mm.
contribution to the community.
Yeah, it's really great, and, it yeah, knitting like any other, I quilt, and sew, and, there's all of those preconceived notions that people might have that I could never do that, and, but, you know, I started knitting well, I tried it, like, 12 years 12 years ago,
Okay.
and there was hardly any YouTube out there, it was just
Sure.
really kinda starting, no
Sure.
Instagram, and so, um, uh, I'm a visual learner, so the books with the little sketches, I was like, "What direction is that yarn? I have no idea what it's trying to show me," but I did finally find a YouTube video that taught the knit stitch only, and I made this scarf. This is the very first thing I ever made in 2012, but
Okay.
it was full of holes. I mean, you should have seen it. I had drop stitches and holes everywhere, but since I sew, I just took yarn and
Sewed him up. Why not?
sewed it up. But yeah, so this is the very first thing, but then I sort of got discouraged and um, the pearl stitch is even harder. So I just, went back to my quilting and sewing for all this time, and then
Oh.
in 2020, the pandemic where everybody tried all making bread and everything,
Yes.
I start
Homesteading.
right, I started knitting again, and I had a very determined, like,
Attitude. Yeah.
attitude for it, and I haven't stopped since then. So
Awesome.
and it really took me a while to learn the purl stitch.
But you got it
Couldn't get
now.
it, I couldn't get it, and I finally have it, and I knit continental style too,
Solid.
so,
Okay.
um, yeah, but it's the only way I could learn. I tried the other way, like
English,
they call it throwing or wrapping, yeah, and
throwing, flicking.
I couldn't get it.
Oh
So,
man.
yeah, so I learned it from Arne and Carlos on YouTube.
Sure.
Their pearl stitch. So I like this works for me. I can do it. I can make things. So as soon as I
That's what
learned
matters.
that, I was off to the races. I made
See?
hats.
See?
I made hats.
You're making hats now. Look, you got pom
Look at
poms. All
that.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's go.
furry pom-poms, I love the fur pom-pom. Yeah, I was
Yes.
making all of it, like, the cowls and everything, the little small projects, like you said, because when you're a beginner and you can do a fast finish, it just feels so, like, fulfilling and accomplished, and then I was
Yes.
giving it all away for Christmas, and people were like, "Oh, you made that?"
Yeah. Isn't
I'm
that great, right?
like, "Yes, I did."
No big deal, right? Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So ever since then, and so I'm still sort of newish to it. I haven't done, my next thing I think I wanna try is brioche, um,
Okay.
and it looks doable. I watched, Pearl Soho do it, so it's just a sequence of, different, moves.
Just watch those yarn overs. That's all you got to do.
The yarn
Yarn
overs,
forwards and
right,
yarn
right.
backs and brioche knits and brioche pearls, barks and burps.
Mhm,
You'll be
mhm.
fine.
But the good thing about knitting is that there's so much repetition in a project that once, you start, it might be awkward, but man, like, as you go along, you get better and better, and then it gets memorized, and you're like, "What was I even afraid of?"
You got
It's
it. Exactly.
going good now,
Exactly.
right?
Yes, it's just getting over that first hurdle. That first mountain is a doozy.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't
Yeah,
make it to the top of that
yeah,
mountain, and after that, it's all
yeah.
downhill.
Yeah, yeah, and, another thing too is, like, a lot of times the YouTube videos they're teaching you how to knit, and they're going so fast. So, you don't do that,
Yes.
which is nice, because when you're brand new, your eye can't follow all those movements when you're just going doo
You're right. And like I've always had issue with that. And like that's
Yeah.
what really inspired my 90-second videos
Uh-huh.
because I was there. I was there with on YouTube with everybody else trying to figure out what's going on and I had the same issue. They were going too fast or it was like a podcast that was an hour long
Mhm.
disguised as a tutorial, and
Oh.
I had to wait till like minute 47 to get to the actual tutorial, and I wasted all
Yeah,
this
yeah,
time. People don't have that kind of time. They want what
yeah,
they want and they're gonna leave, right? We have to be okay
yeah.
with that. And I'm okay with that, right? As long as you get what you need. But
Yeah, and you
like,
do techniques. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot of folks on YouTube that are just like a bunch of show offs. Like, they want to show
Mm.
that they can do the thing, but they don't
Mhm.
want to show people, or they may not be able to show somebody
Yeah.
how to do the thing, right? So
Right,
I'm gonna put this
right.
on a shirt one day. Others show off, I show how.
Oh, I love it. So
Right,
good.
right.
So let's talk about you getting started in knitting and tell us your
Okay,
story.
let's go.
I
All right, so
love
we're.
I love the stories.
Oh, the stories are awesome, right?
Yeah.
I never get tired of talking about it either because it's definitely it's a big part of my life because I didn't think that it would get this this way. It wouldn't turn into
Mm.
this thing, right? Okay,
Mhm.
so 2007, I'm in college, right? I'm in a class, and my classmate across the way next to the professor, she's making this scarf, and it's a pink scarf with purple skull and crossbones. I later find out she was doing intarsia knitting, so I was like, that's dope. I need to learn how to do that. Now, I asked her if she could show me how to do it, but she didn't believe me by a long shot because, like, and I'm always like never afraid to say, like, look at me. Do I look like someone that is interested in learning how to knit at first glance? The answer is a resounding no. Skip what you said. That's the truth. Like, I don't look like the person that's interested in that, just like conventionally, right? So she was
Mhm.
skeptical, right? And I was a lot bigger than her, right? And like I just dressed it was a different life, 2007, different life. I'm a different
Mm.
person now, but I bugged her for weeks, every day that like we were in. You gonna show me how to do that now? You gonna show me how, like just let me know. I'll buy everything, whatever you need. Just let me just show me, right? She finally gave in. I went to her dorm room, and she showed me how to cast on, knit, and purl. Not bind off because she was still so freaked out about that, and it was an all girls dorm too. So like
Ah.
me going in there, it was like red alert. This is not a drill. There's a male in the building, and like I had my name put down a bunch of pieces of paper, like my picture, where I was at, and like my ID had to stay at the front desk. Like it was everything but like a DNA sample. I promise you, it was
Jeez.
crazy.
Yeah.
It was nutty. But like the door was open, people were moving like zipping around like every like couple of minutes. It was like I was in like a maximum security facility or something.
Oh my
But like
gosh.
she was just so freaked out. Like after that, like she showed me how to get
Wasn't
the
there a
stuff.
Starbucks nearby?
I wish, I wish. But it was that, and like I started with Red Heart yarn. Boy needles, straight needles. They were red. The US 8 5 millimeter, and like that summer, like I stayed inside in the dead of heat, and I worked on this craft because as soon as I touched it, I knew something was going to come of this. I didn't know what
Mm.
it was going to look like, but I knew it was going to be something that I could use to help other people, to empower other people. Because, like, again,
Mhm.
the teacher is in my spirit, like the instructor, the empowerer, like that's in my spirit. So using knitting as a vehicle to get that across, like that was groundbreaking. And
Mm.
16 years later, here we are.
Wow. So, yeah, and, you, well, I don't think you're teaching now, but you were a math teacher, right?
Yes, yes, math teacher, tutor. I did a lot of AmeriCorps. I think I logged like well over 15,000 service hours in LAUSD, one of the worst school district in the country. Working with kids there and after school programs, developing programs and everything through an organization called City Year. It was under the
Mm,
umbrella of AmeriCorps, so I did a lot of AmeriCorps work.
okay.
2009, 2010, all that stuff. So,
Hmm.
yeah, did a lot of teaching.
Yeah, so that actually kind of, just parlays over into what you're doing now because 'cause you're still teaching. And
Yes, and that's
you
what
know
makes
what
it so fun.
yeah,
Oh
you
man.
know how to do it, and you know how people can learn. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's very
Yes.
helpful for you
For
because,
sure.
some people just they don't know how and they can't teach. So, like, even when people go really fast on YouTube, and sometimes even someone will say, "Oh, well, I can't do this unless I do it like this," if they slow down and show it stitch or
Yeah,
loop by loop, they get all messed up and they can't do it or don't have the patience. So yeah, it takes a certain, I think, mindset and personality to and patience to teach other
it does
people.
take, it takes a ton of patience. I just think
Mhm.
it's really the first impression, because people can, because again, people may not be able to articulate feelings, but that doesn't mean they don't feel. People
Mhm.
feel way more than they can ever like ever articulate, right? So
Mhm.
I'm very cognizant of that. When we're trying to show somebody, like I understand where you're at, because I was there too, and I know what it feels like to feel small, or like be made to feel small, right?
Yes.
Like incompetent and things like that. I know what that
Yeah.
feels like, so I don't do that to people, right? Because that's not what I want. The
Mhm.
end goal is we need to build your confidence enough to be motivated to try. It's not even about the knitting. The knitting is just the
Mhm.
vehicle, it's the tool, it's the lag measure, right?
Mm.
Like I want you to know that like I'm that person that's going to help you, and I know the struggle, and because I know the struggle, I'm going to form my instruction in such a way that hits all those points without you having to say them, because I
Mm.
know. And that's where we start. So when we start to get a little harder, we have something to build on. But it's
Mm,
really about
mhm.
the confidence, and the confidence boosting,
Mhm.
and the nurturing. It's a lot of nurturing at
Yeah.
first, and using all of the other nuances and the senses in the videos, right? I use sound effects, I use visuals, I use color, right? I use little
Mhm.
sound bites where like it's not just knitting, like it goes back to my face, right? For people who have like low attention and ADD and ADHD, those kinds of things, like those learning things that are going on, right? Can't really focus on one
Mhm.
thing too long, so that's why I'm all over the place. But it has a flow to it, right? Because
Mhm.
I know who I'm teaching for. I know who I'm talking to. So
Mhm.
the teaching is catered to those folks.
Yeah, that's really great, and then, rewarding for you probably, especially
Yes.
when you see, your students or followers come from, like, point A to all the way up to, like, now they're
Yes.
making stuff. They're making a sweater,
Exactly. Yes.
right?
Like, man, it's the most fulfilling thing ever.
Mhm.
Like no amount of money can like
Mhm.
make that. You can't buy that, right? And like that's why I always
Right.
tell people too, like if I could and like be like supported financially, I'd do it for free. Like I would literally do that for free. I love it that much. Like
Yeah.
it's literally my purpose in life.
Well, that's the other thing is the love and the passion. So if you don't have the passion for it, it's hard to, get other people to
Yes.
have a love and a passion for it
Yeah,
too.
you can't fake this. You
No, not at
can't fake
all.
this.
And I really love it too. I love that's why I keep continue to knit and um this time I was so determined and it took me a year to get that pearl stitch down, and I could have given up because that's a long
True.
time. That's a long
It
time.
is. It is. It is.
But I was determined. I'm like, "I'm doing this." And, when I finally got it done, I was so excited. I was just like, people just don't understand. Like, when people around you that don't get what you do, they don't understand, and they look at me like,
Yes.
"Okay, okay, that's good. Great." You
They
know?
have no idea. And that's all the more reason why you gotta have like yarny friends that
Yeah.
understand, because
Mhm.
your achievements need to be celebrated in that it's that big a deal.
Yes,
It's
yes.
such a big deal. And like people who don't knit
Absolutely.
don't know, but I knit,
Mhm.
and you can always celebrate your achievements with me, because I'm gonna be your biggest fan. Because I get it. I'm there with you, and we all need a cheerleader. So
I love it, yeah, and, the things that you make are just absolutely gorgeous.
oh, thank you.
I love the blue sweater you made for your son. I love that color
Yes.
blue and the white.
Yes.
So beautiful, and then you made your sweater blue. I think I saw you on someone else's YouTube or whatever. So you had the, intention of having the white pattern on your blue sweater
Yeah.
too?
Yes. It was a mishap. Like it got ripped down. It was a cat or the kid, and it ripped out like all of my
Oh.
like color work. I was like,
You
well,
had it all
it's
done.
solid now.
Oh my gosh.
It was a problem because it's a bottom up sweater
Yeah.
too, right? So
Yeah.
like I didn't start the color work until I joined the sleeves at the underarm. So there's a lot of weight because the top of the
Oh.
shoulder hasn't been like
Yeah.
solid solidified yet. So like that's
Mhm.
what my color work was, and it
Yeah.
was already gone. So I was like literally like 2 or 3 rows away from my sleeves falling off the torso. I was devastated. I was like, I'll
Yeah.
save it, but the color work has to go. It's almost like surgery where like, I couldn't save everything. I
I
couldn't save
probably
it.
I probably would have cried. I know I would
It
have.
was tough. It was a good 3 hour venture, just getting that out, picking up stitches,
Yeah.
counting, recounting. And it was alpaca. It was in like,
Oh.
it was hot. It doesn't slide to the
Yeah.
fingers very
Yeah.
well. It itches. Oh, man, it's a problem.
Yeah, but it turned out nice too. I mean,
Thank you.
lemons in the lemonade, and
All
I
day.
see you sometimes wearing it, and you've got the cowl on over. So like other things layered onto it looks great. I'm so
Yes.
yeah,
And people know
still
that too. And like,
works.
can you imagine? Like, people have all this style and this sense of fashion. Can you imagine if they had the skill set to make what's in their mind real?
Yeah, I
That's the
know.
vision. This is
Uh
worth
huh.
going for, right?
What?
You see what I mean?
Yeah. One of the
Goodness.
reasons why I always wanted to knit, I never knew anyone around me who knit. I did meet someone at a place I used to work. Um, and I would ask her a lot, like, "You have to teach." She's Norwegian, so they learn how to knit in childhood.
Yes. Yes.
I'm
It's
like,
like tying
"You."
their shoes, right?
I know, I'm like, "You have to show me how to knit," and she said she would, but it never happened because our schedules got too busy, and,
Oh, you
so
got to get with me then. You got to get with me. I'll get you right.
I
I'll get
know,
you
you
right.
will.
Come on
Oh,
now. What?
absolutely, absolutely, for sure. But, yeah, so and I think too, like, cultures that it's just part of their everyday life,
Yeah.
don't think about it as, how we do, or at least how I did, because I was just memorized by it, and I always
Sure.
this is why one of the reasons why I wanna start with a long-term goal, but I always wanted to have one of those, um, cable knit fisherman sweaters, the wool, the really with the collar
Yes.
that goes up here and looks all
Little
fancy.
mock neck, it just folds over. You got like the
But
cables
they're
there.
like yeah, but they're like $700 if you buy them from, the real deal, and
You should just make them, and it's gonna be a fraction
right.
of the cost.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's still on my list to make. I just started to do a little bit of cabling, but,
Well,
yeah.
don't wait too long.
I
Hopefully, I mean, you can just
know.
keep watching. I'm working on my own an Aaron sweater right now. Like I got the both panels. I'm working on the sleeves right now. So like,
Yeah?
hopefully, like when you see mine, it'll kind
Yes.
of like move that date up a little bit more because
Yes.
don't wait. Like go
Mhm.
now. Like I'm doing that one so I can do my bucket list sweater. And
Mhm.
like it's even more complex cable thing going on. So like if
Oh,
you want to start,
yeah.
like we can start it together. Like this ain't gonna be the first one that I've done. Like I've done cable ones before, but Aaron sweaters, it's a whole deal. You have the panels, you have to like sew it up, block it. When it's all together, then you have to pick up the neckline and then knit the neckline. It's a
What is
whole
now,
adventure.
is Aran a type of technique or a type of style of the sweater, or what?
And Aaron, it's it comes from a place like the Aran Islands. Like that's a
Yes.
place. Yeah, like that's a place.
Yeah.
So like that place has its own style of knitting with that culture. So like that's
Gotcha.
where it
Okay.
came from.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Just like Fair Isle. Okay.
Yes, right in the
I love
same
Fair
little
Isle
area.
too.
It's on an island, right?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
isolated.
yeah. Uh-huh. Right, right. So, that's great. Yeah, I would totally what I need to do is stop, like, I'm like a squirrel, so, I see something like last year, the, Pearl Soho in February started a knit along of this prism
Sure.
blanket,
Yep.
and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, it looks like a quilt," because they're half square triangles, and I have it behind me here.
There you go.
So,
Okay.
half square triangle. I only have the first column done, but I mean, this started in February, so I'm still but this isn't hard at all to do, but,
Yeah.
um, there was new techniques in here, so I learned that you don't sew them together, you actually attach to the previous block by picking up
Yeah,
the
you just
garter.
pick them up. Just pick up
I
the
know.
wraps and whoop, and off you
And
go.
yeah, and at first I was like reading instructions, and of course, again, I'm like, what is that? I don't know what you're talking about. And of course,
Yes.
Pearl has the videos, and again, as soon as I see it, I'm like, yes, okay,
There you go.
I
Exactly. If
got
you
it.
can see it, you can do it. Like it's been done before. Like
Yeah,
that's the biggest
yeah,
part of like everything I've
yeah,
been saying about like people
yeah.
being able to knit. Like it's
Uh-huh.
been done before. Like who's to say you can't? It's been done
Right.
before. Go to Ravelry. Look how
Yes,
many people made this. What makes you
you're
different?
right.
You can do this.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, and they're just people like us.
Just
They're
like
not
us.
like, you know, you're not like a, I don't know, superhero
Yeah. They didn't like
ChatGPT.
inject a bunch of skill into their veins. Just like skills. Ugh.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
no.
yeah, yeah.
Their behaviors. They can be learned.
Oh, I love it. So you have a tagline called "We Out There."
We
Well,
out here. Yeah.
we oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of X-Files.
The truth is out there. It's a great theme song, by the
The
way.
truth is out there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Truth is
Okay,
out there.
we out here.
We out here. Yes.
We out here. What inspired it? It's very
Well,
catchy, and I
it,
love it.
it I want it to be because like it's about bringing people together. It's about community, right? Like
Mhm,
if it's a lot more impactful when you bring a group of people to a place where they never been able to go than you
mhm,
going by yourself. Like that's the core of like my brand, right? Like if
mm,
I want more people to do this, they need to be able to feel included. They need to be able to feel capable and
yeah,
they need to be able to feel worthy and all of that. So like there's
mhm.
a big social aspect in it because we out here sounds a whole lot better than me out here,
Yes, we're in it together. That's how I kind
right?
of perceived it, is like, we're all together, we're out here
Yeah,
together.
I mean,
So
I've always been a collaborator. We take all those little like
mhm,
skills tests and placement tests and things like that. I'm the collaborator. I'm not a type A person. I'm not like
mhm,
like a pushover or whatever. But like I want to work together with the group so we can get somewhere together. Like I'm that
yeah.
team player, right?
Let's talk about, beginning knitting projects, 'cause, you cater to everybody out there and a lot of beginners, because people, really are, when they see your tutorials, it makes them think that they can pick up a set of needles and they can do this, which is great, and I
That's
love
the
that.
point, right? That's the
And
point.
that's why I was so enchanted with your videos, is that I wish that that was around, you know, like 15 years ago for me. But yeah, I mean, if I had those tutorials, back when I really wanted to start learning, I know that I would have picked it up and I would have stayed with it. So I'm so glad you're doing this, because so many people are, um, just really, fortunate and reaping the benefits of this, instruction, and they're learning. They're doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love it. And there's techniques. I mean, I'm still a beginner, so I still have to learn a lot more in knitting. So I am watching your videos for sure.
well,
So
thank you.
beginning knitting projects and supplies. Um, I think you might have said one time that a hat was your first project, is that right?
It was actually a scarf. It was a scarf
Oh, a
because it was
scarf,
flat.
okay.
It was a garter stitch scarf,
Alright,
like
you so
every
you knitted
row
flat stuff a long time
a
first, that's
whole
right.
lot of flat stuff. But like
Yeah,
when you want to take that plunge into 3D things, like I've always been a big fan of hats and beanies. It's like the
yeah,
perfect accessory. It can make
yeah,
any outfit that much better if it's the right hat, right style, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, yeah.
when I first took the plunge of going in the round, I never looked back. Everything made sense in the round.
Yes.
Doing things flat just it was like a waste of time at first, but now like I see the
Mhm,
purpose in it now because you
mhm.
can make flat things and you can make them 3D, just like a box. Like a box starts flat, you start adding the
Mhm.
dimensions to it and it turns into like this
Yeah.
3D shape. So
Mhm,
when we talk about supplies, for me, I use like worsted weight yarn or 4 weight yarn, and I try to
mhm.
use both of them because it's about getting the message across, not being snobby and being like, oh, you need the yarn that has 5 to 7 wraps per inch. I don't. Nobody cares. Just get the message across, right?
Right.
Worsted weight yarn, 4 weight yarn, and 5 millimeter needles or US 8 needles,
Okay.
and I use circular needles because
Yeah,
they're versatile, right?
they
Because
are.
say you have flat needles or straight needles, you can only do flat things unless you get a
Mhm.
few more and they're double points, and then you can start turning it around. But if you have a circular, you can do flat whenever you want, and if you're just feeling froggy, bring them together, bring them together, and you can just
Yes.
join in the round, and boom, you're off to the races just like that. 16 inch,
Mhm.
let's go, right? You want to go
Yeah.
32 inch? That's a blanket if you want it long, or it can be a torso for a bottom up sweater if that's what you want to do. Same needle, save some money,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
stop tripping, right?
Yeah.
So like that's usually like my like beginner thing, and like I'm selling yarn and needle combos, so like sets, so you can have that. Because like if you want to do the straight needles like that, that's totally up to you. But why not get a needle that you can progress yourself up to, and it be the same needle? You ain't got to go nowhere to buy nothing else, right? That's what we all looking
Right.
for anyway. Bang for your buck, right? Come on now, come on
Yeah.
now, yeah, yeah.
Oh, I know when I experience the circular needles, it's like that's all I use now, really.
See,
I do use DPNs, and that was another thing that I couldn't get for the longest time, but, the I couldn't get the magic loop thing, I mean, the whole so
what about two
I
circulars?
oh, well, I haven't tried that yet, maybe I'll
You
try that, but
should.
2 circulars used like DPNs or no, you
Yes.
they can't.
Exactly. So like say you have a round piece, right?
Yeah?
You put half this, like say like my neckline, right?
Yeah?
It's about, it say it's 100 stitches long around. I put 50 on one circular and it's straight across. And then on the other side, I put the other 50 and it's there. So when I get to this side, all I do is knit with this same circular all the way across. It never moves. But the working yarn will be over here now, and now you use that other circular needle and you never cross them. So you literally still have on the ends, it looks like four double points sticking out, but with all of the comfort and the flexibility of that cable holding the stitches together. It's magic.
Oh, I think I just got because I couldn't get it at first, but I think I know what you're saying, because as the yarn goes into um, the second half, then you
Yep.
start
You're
knitting
gonna
with those
use
other
the other
then you
needle.
start knitting with those other needles. Ah!
That's it. That's it. So who needs, like, you don't need the magic loop thing. So
Wow.
like it really it
Oh,
beats out the double points because you don't have to worry
yeah.
about all those little skewers and have things
Mhm.
fly off. And you don't have to worry about the laddering so much, right? Because the fabric
Right.
starts to separate
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then that
yeah.
fabric gets stressed at those junctures, right? And
Mhm.
with double points, you
Mhm.
have like you can have up to four junctures for the needles, but with
Yeah.
two circulars, it's only two.
Yes. Yeah, I can see that now. Wow, I
Sure.
didn't even think about that. That's awesome.
Around, and there's no purling when you knit in the round.
I
If you
know, I
want it to
love it.
be full stockinette, no purling,
Yeah,
zero.
yeah. Love
Beautiful.
stockinette
How
on
how can
circular
you lose?
needles.
There you go. You add a
Right.
pearl, you just like, because like that's the thing that people don't understand. Like you got to put it in perspective. Like if you can knit and purl, you can
Mhm.
literally do about 98% of all projects that ever existed.
Oh, wow. That's
When you
good.
have that kind of perspective, like
Yes.
why would you not try? Why would
Mhm.
you not try?
I
That
know,
Aaron sweater that
right?
you're talking about, knits and
Yes.
pearls. That's
Yep.
it. This
Mhm.
sweater that I'm wearing right now, knits and pearls.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not about difficulty, it's about endurance, right?
Mhm.
If you can
Mhm.
last and go the distance, you can make it.
Right.
It has nothing to do
Yeah.
with skill so much as it has to do with like will and determination. And you can do that.
Will. Correct. Yes, absolutely. And then when you get a little bit more comfortable, I did knit 1 pair of socks.
All right. There you go.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
you
so
go.
that was fun, and then
How
again,
did you make them?
and
Were they
one
cup down or toe up?
one was a little bigger than the other, but I didn't care because when I put them on, nobody can tell.
Were they cup down or toe up?
They were cuffed down, I
Okay.
think. Were they? Oh my gosh, I made them a year ago, so now I don't even remember, but it
Did
was
you finish with the
it
toe?
I
Did you have the decrease to the toe?
oh, man. Actually, I think it was toe up because I finished with the cuff.
Fancy.
I think that's what it was, but I could be totally wrong, but um, it was given to me. I was at a, like, a show, like, the H&H Americas, and, it's geared towards all these shop owners, of knitting and
Sure.
sewing and stuff.
And so forth.
So, at lunchtime, I met, these women that had a shop in Michigan, and
Yeah.
that's when I still couldn't do the pearl stitch.
Okay.
No, 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 it wasn't the pearl stitch, it was DPNs. So, they told me. They were just sitting there, and they were so helpful. See, just like you, they were very willing to share their knowledge
Yeah.
and told me first of all, I was using too small of needles and, as a beginner. So she's like, "Get bigger needles, like the size 7," and they emailed me a pattern link to very easy socks. No,
Some vanillas.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I did it. I couldn't believe it. I was just so happy that I was able to do the DPNs and make a pair of socks. So it was because of them. You know what? I mean, like, because if I hadn't run into them, who knows how long I would have taken to try
Yeah.
DPNs
Or
for
if you would have
socks.
tried it all, you know?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So it just takes someone to be that generous and kind for just like the smallest thing, and it
Yes.
could like change the course of your like outlook and
Well, your life,
your
like
life.
literally your
Yeah.
life. Like
Yeah.
my life is better because that one person, her name's Caroline, like we still talk, we're on Instagram together and everything. Like
Ah.
that one act of kindness and like my, you know, endurance and determination and like, grit, perseverance, like look how many more people have benefited from that one act of kindness.
Right.
That one decision,
Mhm.
right? Like it's groundbreaking. It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is, and I never forget it. Like, I will never forget those 2 women sitting down and having lunch, and, just like I don't I forget your videos, and that's what really, I think, stays the really, really great stays with you, and the really, really bad
Well, for sure,
kind
you
of
know what I mean.
can
Like,
sometimes.
people
Yeah.
may forget what you say, but like, no one forgets how
Mhm.
you made them feel. No one.
Exactly.
No one. And that's why that's so
Exactly.
powerful, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So like it's so true. Like I'm full of all those fancy cliche quotes and everything, like tell me and I'll forget, um what is it? Teach me and I might remember, involve me, then I'll understand. It's so true though. Like if you're
It
in it,
is.
you're in it. And you'll
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Like you tell somebody something, it's through one ear and out the other, you know what I mean? It has to matter.
Yeah,
And that's the deal. Like if you
yeah.
can figure out how that matters to them,
Mhm.
you have them forever. Yeah.
So, yeah, so, okay, uh, do you have any more knit-alongs planned? Because we are getting into, like, the season of I'm sure the
Oh
cooler
my
weather,
god.
people are gonna be knitting like crazy, so got anything
I
happening?
do. I'm still working with Darn Good Yarn. We are working on a set for babies, like a baby set. And I'm always looking to work to build the skill level. So in order to build the skill level, you have to also increase the difficulty.
Mm,
So doing like baby hats. So now like it's a smaller hat, it's in the round. So you're learning those new skills
mhm.
and experiencing that, and then eventually in the fall, sometime like October, hopefully November, we'll move ourselves into a baby sweater or like a baby cardigan,
Oh, I love
right?
it.
Little baby cardi,
Yes.
garter stitch
Yes.
cardi. So maybe with some buttonholes, who knows? Um, and we'll do that. It's just it really based on what they want. I put out polls on Instagram like, what do
Mhm,
you guys want to do? Right? I don't want this to feel like you're doing this because I'm putting it on. We're doing this because this is what you wanted to do. And when people
mhm,
feel that, they're gonna be engaged. They're gonna show
mhm,
up. They'll buy the yarn, whatever it is.
mhm,
So they'll
mhm.
they'll do those
Oh,
things, and
yeah,
we'll have the community that we need to have because they feel involved. They feel engaged.
they're buying the yarn because after I saw your bandana videos, I went to Darn Good Yarn, and
Hey,
they're, like,
I hope you use
all
my
but
link to save
sold
some
out.
money.
Alright, and then I just wanna tell people everything that you have available. You do have a website, which I'll put a link to.
Yes,
Um, so on there, you have some merch and, like, with
I have
hats.
some. I have a
And
couple of
travel
hats,
mugs,
some tumblers. I have some tumblers there.
tumblers.
Yep. So for folks that really just want to be a part of the movement, just want to support, right?
Sure.
And they
Yeah.
don't necessarily have to knit.
Uh-huh.
I have a couple of finished objects on there. I have like a We Out Here embroidered. Sorry, We Out Here embroidered cashmere beanie on there. So that's
Oh, those
pretty
were
sweet.
cashmere.
Oh
Nice.
yeah.
Okay.
I
I
featured all
saw
my
them. They look
patterns
nice.
in
Yeah.
Clinton Hill cashmere because it's a
Clinton
goat. It comes
Hill.
from a goat.
Okay.
So yeah,
Oh,
my website.
good.
I have merch. I have links and offers for my one-on-one virtual
Yes,
classes.
one-on-one. Mhm.
I definitely have those as well. I've had amazing reviews, amazing customer feedback. I
Mhm.
haven't, knock on wood, right? I haven't had a session where somebody walked away knowing less or not getting to their goal, right? So, like,
Okay. Good.
you spend the hour with me, you learn your thing. If it's Italian cast on, tubular cast on, provisional, anything like that, learning how to do cables, when the hour's over, you know how to do it.
Oh, okay. So they can go to your website and sign up for an hour one-on-one with you, and you'll meet kinda like how we are on,
Exactly. Yep. We'll
video.
be in my studio and like we'll have all
Mhm.
the access for like samples and lights and different videos and different like looks and things like that. And I usually try to match the type of yarn that you have or the type of needles that you have because when there's sameness, there's not a
Mhm.
lot of like I guess static or like drama, I guess. Like,
Mm.
oh, you have these needles, I have these needles, these are weird. Like, oh, you have like that's what I'm saying. Like, oh, you have child glue needles, I have child glue needles. Like, do you have like
Uh,
Knitter's Pride or Knit Picks? I have all of them for that reason,
oh,
because
good.
when we have the same stuff, that's one less thing we have to think about, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
what it's
It
about.
does help. Oh, that's great. Okay. So it's really like technique based. So and you could be on a project and get stuck on something and they can do an hour with you and learn it and move
And
on.
get right for sure.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah.
have like plenty of whips that are just like just they're not meant to be finished because of the classes, right? Like I have a brioche hat
Mhm.
just tucked away somewhere, ready to go. Color work, ready to go. Yarn and needles for toe up socks, doing like Judy's Magic cast on, or doing like the Italian cast on with like just one strand rather than doing like the tubular
Oh,
because you can do
geez.
tubular like multiple ways.
I haven't even learned that I tubular yet. I've heard the term tossed around, but I'm still good
You
with my
got to
long
do it if you
tail.
want the best looking edges. The best looking edges. You
Is it
need.
for the bottom edge of, like, a sweater or something? Is that what
It
the
can be the bottom
tubular
edge
is
of a
used
sweater, the
for?
ends of a cuff, the ends of a sock. It can
Oh.
be the ends of anything. It can be the tubular bind off. That's a finishing technique. If you're
So
doing,
yeah?
yeah,
When a pattern says, long tail this, you can just substitute the tubular
I do it every time.
for the edge?
I do it every time.
Ooh, ooh.
I do it every time.
Did you put videos out on that yet?
I do. I have tubular cast on videos for that for sure.
Oh, awesome. Okay. I gotta
Oh
take a
yeah,
look
like
at
it's the
that.
best because
I'm
like you got to
telling
think
you.
about it, right? Why would you want that kind of edge? And some people do like that edge, and I get it, right? But if you want the best looking edge, all it takes is one more skill, and you got it.
Oh,
Why are
yeah,
you
you're
wasting?
right.
Why are you spending this time making all these things and you don't
Yeah.
have the edges right?
Well, part of that, though, is we may not know. Like,
Well, you
I
gotta come
I didn't
find me.
know
I'll get you
tubular
right.
I didn't know
Come
tubular was
find,
out there.
come find me. I will get you
That's part
together.
of it. It's part of it. It's just
Promise.
like you don't always really know what's the next step or what people more experienced people are doing and how they made it look like that. So, tubular edge, that's a technique
And
I
here's
need to
how I say it,
learn.
right? We're on Instagram and we're looking at like knitting inspirations, right? We know
Uh-huh.
how beautiful like those edges look, right? You're
Yeah.
just off that visual, you're one question away. How do I get mine to look like that?
Ah,
How do I get that to look like that? You did it.
okay.
How do I do it? You did it, so I
Oh.
can do it too. But how you do it, right? But like,
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
chances that you might run into some gatekeepers though, people that just want to kind of like safeguard and bogart the information. I'm not one of those
Mhm.
people, right?
Yeah.
Because you can like have all the knowledge in the world on knitting,
Yeah.
but you still got to put them needles together. You still
Mhm.
got to put them together and do something,
Yeah.
right? So like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where's the value really My
Yeah.
value is getting people to do what they want. That's what brings me joy, and that's what brings them
Mhm.
joy, right? So I'm that guy. So if you got people that like want to know how to do that stuff, like we can literally do that in 90 seconds. Because if you can't
I
do it in 90 seconds, like, yeah, I can show you on a video how to do like a tubular cast on, like an Italian cast on flat,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
like in 90 seconds. Watch, I'll show you real quick. What?
Ah.
Because I bring it with me all the time, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like, remember that sleeve I was telling you about?
Yeah, yeah.
This is the sleeve for my Aaron sweater. I'll take this little
Okay.
clip off, but
Uh-huh.
like it's flat. But if we
Yeah.
look, it's flat, right? Because I got to sew it
Yeah.
up later. But if we
Yeah.
look really, really closely, you can see that edge is not like a regular
Oh.
cast on
Yeah, I
edge.
could see it.
It's tubular, right?
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
my the pattern was like, yeah, go ahead and just cast on 46 stitches using the long tail cast on. I was like, nope. Why? Because like already I'm like, okay, it's an even number, 46. So that
Mhm.
means one by one is perfect. Let's go. Italian cast on all day. Easy. That's why
I
we do it.
Is Italian cast that's a little different from the tubular, right?
No,
Oh,
there's
they're
different names for it, like
interchangeable?
tubular cast on flat. Like
Oh.
they're all the same.
Oh, okay,
It's the
okay.
same synonyms, right?
Ooh,
And you can do on the
got it.
provisional too. People don't like doing provisional because there's so many extra steps. Again,
Uh.
like we're lazy. They just want to do it fast, right? Let's be real. Call a spade a spade.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to have to get scrap yarn and a crochet hook and do this and do that. They just want to be like one time done, right? I totally
Uh,
get it, right?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, like if you need that and like if other folks need that, book a sesh. We'll get it together. We'll
Nice.
go as slow as you want. I'll do it as many times as you need. Doesn't matter. It's about you, right?
I love it. Yes, thank you so much. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast. I could probably
Thank
just
you.
talk to you forever. It just,
Sure.
could keep going and going and going, but I will watch your videos, of course,
Watch
and,
them, watch.
yeah, definitely. I love your collaborations too. Those are really fun,
I
and,
really try to just be around people that like
mhm,
have my audience's best interest. I don't even call them
yeah,
followers because you're not a follower. You're an
audience, yeah,
enthusiast, a fellow
yeah.
enthusiast, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like I've said no to a lot more things that I've said yes to,
yeah,
and there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes before you see me like collaborate with folks because I
that's
just
good.
want more for the people, right? Like every time like I do a
Yeah,
collaboration, like I have like an affiliate link or something like that where you can save some
mhm,
money or something like
yeah,
that, and like that's what it's about, because we do
mhm,
this. We want to have fun. We want to, fellowship with people.
mhm.
That shouldn't be expensive.
Right, yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that, and that I never learned of Darn Good Yarn from you, so,
Hey,
you know,
love that.
that's how you get, the
Mm.
word out there and you introduce people to new things, new brands and new yarns, and they are, like, very, moderately priced, and they're good quality.
There you
So,
go. And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
such a good cause. Like like that's giving
Mhm.
people overseas, women overseas jobs and
Yeah.
empowering them, and
I
like
love
that's
that
where it comes from.
photo. Yeah, I love
Beautiful.
that
Yeah.
photo where she's holding the yarn's behind her. She's like, "I made your yarn."
Yeah. Ain't that something?
Yeah, that's so
Just gives
cool.
you that extra connection. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on now, and it was such a pleasure talking with you and I mean, I've learned so much even through this, podcast, so thanks so much, and I cannot wait to publish this for my listeners. They're gonna
Oh
go
yeah.
bananas, so that's
It's
great.
gonna be awesome. You got me
Alright.
in my DMs. Don't be a stranger. You know what I mean. Don't let the follower
Mhm.
count fool you. I'm the same
Gotcha.
guy.
Yes.